All right, people, today I want to talk about a horrific atrocity that occurred in human history, the Holocaust and American slavery. And this is going to be a comparative analysis workshop. So let's just dive into it. The Holocaust and American slavery are two of the most horrific atrocities in human history. Both involve systemic oppression, dehumanization, and exploitation of people based on race and on ethnicity. However, they differed in their goals, they differed in their methods, the duration, and long term effects. And so let's just dive into it. Let's first talk about the similarities between the Holocaust and American slavery. Both dealt with dehumanization and racial supremacy. The Holocaust was basically the Nazi regime considered Jews, Romani people, disabled individuals, and other marginalized groups as subhuman and sought to eliminate them entirely. American chattel slavery was white supremacy, underpinned slavery in the United States. Black people were legally classified as property, stripped of their humanity, and treated as less than human. So, as you see, both systems relied on a racial hierarchy where Aryan Germans or white Americans, both positioned themselves as superior and justified horrific treatment of the other. Systemic oppression through the laws. During the Holocaust, Nazi Germany introduced the Nuremberg laws. That was back in 1935, which stripped Jews of their citizenship, forbade intermarrying, and restricted their rights. American slavery, laws such as slave codes and later Jim Crow, ensured that Black people had no legal rights and were socially and economically oppressed. In both cases, laws institutionalized discrimination, making it a legal and government supported practice. Okay? Now let's talk about the forced labor and exploitation. During the Holocaust, many Jewish and Romani and other prisoners were sent to forced labor camps, working in inhumane conditions for German businesses. Okay? American slavery, Black slaves were forced to work in plantations, industries, and homes without pay, often under brutal conditions. Both groups were used for economic gain, often in conditions where starvation, exhaustion, and abuse were daily experiences. And let's talk about the extreme physical and psychological torture. The Holocaust. People were subjected to medical experiments, starvation, gas chambers, and mass evacuations. Just horrible. American slavery. Enslaved people were whipped, lynched, raped, subjected to psychological trauma through family separations and extreme violence. So both shared terror and violence. They were tools to control, both during the Holocaust and American slavery. Resistance and rebellion. The Holocaust. Jewish people resisted through armed revolts like Warsaw Ghetto Uprising and underground movements. In American slavery, enslaved people resisted by revolting, like you have the Nat Turner's Rebellion, escaping through the Underground Railroad, and through acts of passive resistance. But despite overwhelming oppression, both groups found ways to fight back and seek freedom, although most of the time, not successfully. Let's talk about the intergenerational trauma and lasting impact of both the Holocaust on the Jewish people and their survivors and American slavery. The Holocaust. Jewish survivors and their descendants continue to experience generational trauma, discrimination, and struggles related to identity and historical memories. American slavery. Black Americans continue to face systemic racism, economic disparities, and the psychological effects of generations of oppression. Both atrocities have had long lasting consequences that still shape the experience of their descendants. So, now let's get into the differences of the Holocaust and slavery. First of all, what was the goal of each? Well, the goal of the Holocaust, this wicked goal, was that the Nazi regime aimed for genocide, the complete extermination of Jews and other undesirable groups. They just wanted to wipe them out. American slavery, the system aimed for economic exploitation. They enslaved black people, and they did it because they needed free labor to build the economy. So the Holocaust, the Nazis just wanted to wipe the Jews out totally. American slavery, they wanted to just use those people for the rest of their lives for free labor, financial gain. So in short, the Holocaust sought to eliminate a race, while American slavery sought to profit from a race. You see the similarity? White folk was controlling it all. Let's talk about the duration and time of both. The Holocaust lasted from 1933 to 1945, about a 12-year span, right? American slavery lasted for over 250 years, from 1619 to 1865. So American chattel slavery was significantly longer, created deeper structural inequalities that persisted long after slavery was abolished. Let's talk about the treatment of the victims' bodies, the Holocaust. The victims were sent to death camps, Jesus, like Auschwitz, where millions were gassed, burned in crematoriums, and buried in mass graves. My God, what type of sick death camps? Come on, y'all, where's our humanity? Let's talk about the treatment of victims' bodies under American slavery. Enslaved people were exploited for their labor, but were not systematically exterminated. However, thousands were killed through lynchings, beatings, and brutal working conditions. The Nazis sought mass eradication. They just wanted to get rid of them, while American slavery sought lifelong servitude. And what was the government's role? Well, during the Holocaust, the Nazi government directly created, enforced, and managed concentration camps and mass executions. Y'all, I'm telling you, we must read about history. If you read or you see any documentaries on how they would line up the Jews and just start firing on them just because of their race and ethnicity. American slavery, what was the government's role in that? Well, the U.S. government allowed and upheld slavery, but did not directly manage plantations. But through the laws and policies, they did. The Holocaust was state-directed genocide, while American slavery was state-supported exploitation. Now, what were the roles of allies in ending these atrocities? During the Holocaust, it ended through World War II and military intervention by the Allies. American slavery ended primarily through civil war, which was from 1861 to 1865 and the 13th Amendment. But both atrocities ended due to external pressure rather than an internal moral shift. It's not like the Germans said, you know what, we need to stop this. It's not like white slave owners said, we need to stop this. So what is the historical acknowledgement and reparations? The Holocaust. Germany has taken significant steps. This is very important. Germany has taken significant steps to acknowledge and atone for the Holocaust. Holocaust survivors and their descendants have received reparations. American slavery, the United States has never formally apologized or provided reparations for slavery. Systemic racism continues to affect Black communities today. So Germany's approach to Holocaust remembrance contrasts sharply with America's reluctance to fully address the legacy of slavery. So what's our conclusion? Lessons from both. The Holocaust and American slavery revealed the capacity for human cruelty when racism and dehumanization are institutionalized. And they also show the power of resistance and survival among the oppressed. So what are our key lessons? Racism and hate must be confronted before they escalate. History must be acknowledged fully to prevent repeat. And also survivors and their descendants deserve justice, whether through reparations, education, or policy changes. Both events were painful reminders that injustice, if left unchecked, can shape societies for generations. So by studying them, we ensure that such atrocities are never forgotten and never repeated, y'all. It's a lot to think about. So now when we have an administration who idolizes Hitler, it's dangerous. Because what did they want to do? Wipe them out, the Jews out totally, and people who were handicapped. And if we don't be careful, this administration might try to do the same thing. Thanks for watching. Be blessed. Continue to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you know when I upload other teachings. And give a sister some coffee. You see my handle right there.